Hello, everyone. I am EcoBuilder. Welcome to HEX Futures. I created this channel back when HEX was in its pre-launch time period. And I've been following HEX this entire time. StreamYard has changed a little bit. That's my streaming software stuff. And so I'm attempting to get out to Facebook and YouTube and Twitter right now. And it's telling me that my HEX Futures Twitter is not accepting it because I don't have a premium account, but my EcoBuilder Twitter is accepting it. Great. This evening, I guess some people are a little bit active with selling some of their HEX and their ink. So the price is down just a little bit. The prices are scrolling down here at the bottom of the screen. But we've had a pretty good week, especially because the elections were last week. So I think the last time that I did a live stream was in the middle of October. And now we're in the middle of November. So I'm just going to go over a few of the things that have been going on in the community just to sort of do a timestamp on what's happening lately, which is quite similar to what Diraj Moray does, you know, the man with the golden mic over there in the Philippines. Because we are the exact same zodiac, we operate quite similarly. So we had the election and we have a lot of optimism in crypto. We have all sorts of politician promising. And one of the cool things that Trump has said recently is that cryptos that originate in the United States may not have any taxes on the participants. So that's really interesting, you know, going forward. Before Trump was elected, he visited some of the Bitcoin stuff and made a speech in front of like a Bitcoin convention of some sort. And he was all for crypto in that, and it seems as though he's for crypto. He even said he would fire Gensler, SEC guy, immediately whenever he gets into office. And Gensler, just within the last like 2 days, wrote a letter saying, I've had a good time serving, and thanks to everybody in the staff that's worked with me. And so he's kind of preparing to make his exit. However, he has not actually made his resignation letter yet. It was kind of like a warm up that we witnessed today. We're having the price of HEX rebound. However, we're having some sell-off of the HEX. And so let's see, back when Richard Hart did a tweet talking about how the market has chosen HEX over HEX, a lot of people in the community were upset. They were holding HEX close to their heart. And it was a time where like it was almost like the fire was put under a bunch of people's arses. Like the water was boiling that we were inside of. And so it really put a lot of pressure on me, because I am an admin in a lot of the groups, to come up with an understanding of what was going to happen going forward, so that we could have some solidity, I guess, towards our thoughts inside the community. I've got a mosquito, I think, that's trying to get a hold of me. I might have gotten him. Here in the dark, mosquitoes have the disadvantage, just like if they were up against white walls. So way back then, you can see an episode on this channel, HEX Futures, where I analyzed that I thought that HEX was going to trail HEX for a while, maybe even this entire bull cycle, which means a 6 to 18 month time period, and then a bear market after that, and then recover in the next bull. So that was just my speculation, and I thought it would be a 1 to 10 ratio, and that's actually what we've hit right now. So that's why I have that as a thumbnail, where it's 1 to 10 ratio. I was lazy on the thumbnails. I'll probably redo it after this in Photoshop, but I just took a screenshot and put it up there. Excuse me, I'm gonna drink a little bit of a German Pils here from the Meanwhile Brewery. Meanwhile, I believe it's here in Central Texas. But whenever I start drinking, by the time I get down to the bottom of it, I might be taking some shortcuts on my words. It's Friday night. The Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight is coming up. There's a few fights before it, so it's not yet live, but I think you'll be able to catch it just by searching YouTube. I don't know if we need TVs anymore, TVs and cable. You might be able to find everything live on YouTube. That's what I've been doing with college football, if I care. And if I care to watch it live, if I don't care to watch it live, I just type in NCAA highlights, and then somebody's already clipped all of it. A guy named Wheels has been working very hard at that the last few years, and I've noticed he's gotten really good, and yeah, I appreciate him for that. Okay, so onward. I try to kick my addiction to watching college football. I did there for a little while, but for some reason this year I got a little bit interested. I guess like the further we get out of the rat race and out of the rigmarole of every day having to respond to other people, and the further we can pull back from that, I, if you don't fill your time, you might get lonely. And so like I kind of needed to have a little bit of what is everybody else doing? What is everybody else up to? What are they thinking? So I can watch some football, and then I can actually have some conversations with my dad outside of politics. Back to crypto. Sorry, folks. So more people are coming to crypto because Bitcoin is strengthening. Bitcoin has just reached an all-time high of 90,000. I think the highest that it got to recently was 91,300 or 500. That's a heck of a deal. People are expecting it to go to 100K very soon, at least by the end of the year. And I mean, Thanksgiving is coming up in 2 weeks, and typically I've seen where people will have conversations around the dinner table at Thanksgiving. Like your sibling or your cousin that's across the nation meets at a dinner table, and what do y'all talk about, or what do you talk about after the dinner? It might be this cool crypto thing. And I just have these memories of whenever I got into crypto. I could have gotten into crypto way back in the beginning of Bitcoin, but when I actually got into crypto was December of 2017. So that was right after everybody had met at their Thanksgiving tables, 2017. I heard some stories about how people would meet in a parking lot, and two cars would drive up to each other, and then they'd do their little crypto exchange. No one left the parking lot until it was done. So 15 minutes to 45 minutes, you were stuck there or whatever. Personally, I bought mine at an ATM for $100. It was 0.004 of a Bitcoin. Um, so yeah, Bitcoin has a high right now, and Ethereum hasn't yet, but it is rallying, let's say. And then meme coins, shit coins, altcoins, all those are to come. I think some of the meme coins have been doing quite well, and I'm not over on the Solana chain, so I think that for this entire year, there's been little pop offs here and there on the Solana chain. Um, what I'm seeing inside of the Hex community is people are coming back around if they love Hex and if they adore Richard and what Richard has to offer to all of crypto plus each individual and their learning capabilities on crypto. Um, a lot of cool folks are watching old Richard Hart videos. You could do that by going to hexsearch.io and just type in some keyword. And then every time Richard ever said that inside of a live stream, it would pop up. And then so you could see that live stream based on the topic that you choose. That would be pretty cool. So people are coming back around, in my opinion, and it's pretty neat. I love to see things fill out. A few live streams ago, I came on here and said, like, hey, we need to be very good and catering to the women in our community. Because one, the ratio is low, but two, they have such a forward thinking, hold it together type feel and um, you know, thought. And I'm losing my words. Let me just go ahead and take a sip to lose some more. But yeah, women tie a community together, and so us men need to recognize and cater to the women. And some of the people that come into our community, they come in and they butter us up just a little bit, and then after that they figure out who their allies are, who's not going to chop their head off, and then they present something to us as if we should put money into it. I'm not talking about those types of people. I'm talking about people who are able to read the room of the community and fall in line, let's say. So here at this bull, people are recognizing what is valuable. Richard Hart and the SEC. Maybe I haven't done a stream since then. So two, I think, of the 12 lawyers of Richard's, what is this screen telling me? I hope I'm live. I think I'm live. I've got, it says I'm live. Okay. So two of the lawyers representing Richard showed up in New York. A lot of Pulse Chain community showed up in New York. I think they had like how many individuals were there? I think it was below 50. If anybody knows how many people were there, let me know. Cool. Daraj gave me a thumbs up. Everything's good. So they're at the SEC trial. They were at a stage where like everything was, all the definitions were already understood and discussed and stuff. And so like this was just to appear in front of the judge and snuff out a little bit more of where everybody's at. And at one point, I think the judge said that there's not much meat on the bone, which was a great comment. But that's basically the gist altogether of what's been going on. So Richard, he didn't have to show up. He was able to stay at home. So it was just the two lawyers, and then SEC people. I don't think Gensler showed up. Nuclear Herbs is one of the guys in our community who is a lawyer. He is able to give us a little bit of insight on what all is going on. And he's been a guest on a few of the shows. One of the HEX shows that he's been on lately, talking about this in depth, was What the HEX with DJ and Papa Bone and Peter. So you might check that out. So we've had a bunch of positivity, but somebody tweeted out the other day, like, hey, maybe we can sue them. Maybe we can sue the SEC. And then where would those funds go that we would acquire from that? That would be pretty interesting to put that into our project. So government, you set us back. However, you might have given us some fertilizer. I don't know. So some people's ideas are that Bitcoin's going to take off, then Ethereum's going to take off, then Bitcoin might slow down, and altcoins might start getting some of the funds go to them, trickling down. We don't exactly know, because this is all very new. Not this exact situation has not happened before. And so some people say that, oh, we're just going to go through bear and bull markets over and over and over. I actually think that they're going to start evening out. There's going to be less of a dip and less of a rise, in my opinion. And I believe that's what the S curve is that Richard always refers to with Bitcoin. Let's see. So it looks as though people are rotating their ink into some of these other things that they think are going to gain faster. Our strongest ticker right now is HEX over on Pulse Chain. If it is that you are over in the Austin area and you've just joined my crypto dividends meetup.com group, welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm sorry I'm a shitty host. I don't always show up and have a new thing for you. Instead, please keep your notifications on so that I can send you a video whenever I complete it. I'll just send you the link afterwards via email. I think it goes to your email. I am a guy who found this guy named Richard Hart who wanted to change crypto, and not, let's see, like 2 years, I guess, after I found him, he launched the HEX token, which allows you to stake and earn interest. And that's what I always wanted. I always wanted a crypto that you could hold and grow the bag of, because when I first got into crypto, I bought some Bitcoin, and then everybody started selling that Bitcoin. And I was like, why are people selling it? It's because they could. It's because they recognized that it was the top, and they were able to move over into a stable coin, which is 1-to-1 with the US dollar. And that one was called Tether, USD Tether. Yeah. And so that makes it to where they can maintain their value, their purchasing power, if you will. And so I actually didn't like stable coins at the time, but now I kind of understand the game. So if you think your coin's going to go down, pop over it in stables. But over here on HEX, we have this cool thing where we earn interest by staking it, and the longer and the larger your stake, the more interest that you earn. And so it's just a great system to play around with. So when you have it liquid, you may want to stake it, you may not want to stake it, but I have a ladder of stakes, like rungs on a ladder, for every 6 months, so that I always have options. Every 6 months, I have something to look forward to. I have the opportunity to cash in or push it out further. I will always have every 6 months to where if I acquire some HEX like I did last month, that was one of my 6-month time periods. I said, we're coming up on a bull market, right? So I want to hold on to that HEX because the possibilities of these returns, this explosion is there with that HEX token. So I took a little tiny portion of that and I put it for 15 years because that's the furthest rung on the ladder. And then I kept the rest here liquid. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for more people to hear about HEX and more people to come into crypto. And I think people are going to come into crypto through Solana and Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then they're going to understand Richard and Richard's teachings, because Richard is the type of guy who gives no fucks about what you think, and he gives and he walks a line of truth. So he already understands how he's going to win in crypto, and you're able to join him and win with him because he needs participants to change the world. Our philosophy is fix the money, fix the world. I've got it as a mural, fix the money, fix the world, at my commercial space in downtown here in Georgetown. By the way, if you're in Austin area and you want to learn about what I know, come over here and I'll host you to a lunch. It'll be fun. We've got Hexagon Lost in Asia. Righteous Beard, cheers. Thanks for the stream. Cool, man. Thanks. I don't know if RG3 is going to do a Friday night effing hangout. It is a Friday night. Earlier today, he had Rackham on. And Rackham is a guy who was in our community and then said a bunch of stuff, does whatever he wants because he's a rich guy. And he kind of buzzed off there for a while. A documentary about our crypto was done in his presence. Like he was probably in a good portion, like 25% of all the footage that they shot for this documentary, and they only used like a 1 second portion where he was putting his foot inside of his Lamborghini, and that was it. They were just kind of like showing off this car. I don't even remember the foot. I just remember the car, the inside of the car door, and you were like pointed. The screen was, the camera was pointed at the floorboard of the car. So there's a lot of mixed feelings about Rackham, and some of the people in our community saw that Rackham was tweeting again, and he was immediately tweeting about things happening here. And then after that, he started talking about alternative coins that he had in his wallet, and he was hoping would pop off this year, and that kind of pisses people off quite a bit. So there's definitely mixed feelings about him coming back and being vocal and being in the limelight. So RG3, I don't know if he was daring in having a stream with him just now, or I don't know what I think about that. There's definitely mixed feelings. But has he personally hurt me? No. And can everybody do what they want with their crypto? Yes, definitely. Now, whenever you're talking crypto with people online, know that some people are going to be completely dishonest. Some people are already going to hold a bag of something, and then they're going to talk it up and try to sell it to you and say that they don't even own it. And then some people are going to be brutally honest, like myself, and maybe even tweet out how much monthly hex they're earning based on their stakes. I'm let's see, this screen name over here, Eco Builder. That's me on Twitter, and that's what I kind of go by inside the community, Eco for short. And then mailhex.xyz. That is a website that I created that represents another Twitter handle of mine. The idea is that I've been sending out mail to everybody, and the mail looks like this, and there's like some stickers and at least 13 business cards inside here. And the business cards, there's 4 different types that I have my hands on right now. Slaps Stickers out of the UK is supposed to be sending me like 3 more versions of business cards, I believe, which I can't wait to get my hands on. They're doing it because I'm, not charging, and I'm philanthropic, and I've been doing this for a while. So they have some old editions of their cards that they're wanting to get rid of, and so it should be in mail route to my house here very soon. I contacted them today about it, and I was actually expecting it already, like a few days ago, actually. So that's going to happen. But so the Hex, the pulsakinstore.com, I think they might be out of Australia, but I might be wrong. Those guys contacted me and they said, "Hey, we're gonna ask our customers, our existing customers that we've already had business with, and we have their addresses, obviously. We're going to ask them if it's okay if we share their addresses with you." And everything went okay. So they gave me 300 Pulsakin addresses. Pulsakin might be hexagons as well, addresses, and that's what I've been sending to lately. So I have, with them doing that, I have doubled the amount of addresses that I have. So I have about 600 addresses. And don't worry, guys, they're safe. If there comes a point where I need to delete them, to burn them, I will. But this just makes it to where like all of those new 300 have all been inside the United States. Here soon, they might share some worldwide addresses with me. We're in conversation about that. But this makes it to where I have more, I'm able to distribute the cards to more of the states in the United States, and actually get more addresses inside of Texas, which I'm really excited about because that's where I am, and we're trying to build the Hex Texas on Telegram, t.me/Hex Texas group. And maybe we'll have some more meetups this year. I think last year we were dry on meetups, but the year before that, I'm pretty sure we had 1 or 2, and the year before that as well. So maybe we could have some sort of a watch party sometime where it's like, okay, everybody's meeting in Vegas, but if you want to do something local, let's meet and then watch. That'd be kind of fun. I really need to build out my downtown space here in order to have it to where everybody can come and go 24/7. Okay. Bit Finesse is over here in my comments as well. He says, "Hey, are Hexicans fighting? I don't get it. Lots of people upset. What's up with you and Trap? love each other, hate each other. What's the story there? Thanks for the stream. Let's see. How do I say this? Trap is a narcissist, which means he doesn't value the people around him. And I'm sympathetic to everybody, and I am out here doing streams, offering to all sorts of things, like creating meetups, admin in groups, sending out mail, designing postcards, uh, designing all sorts of things, because I come from an architecture background. I'm an empath. I'm a Cancerian. Cancerian. I lend myself. However, whenever I get onto platforms like this, I put a target on my back. And so both good and bad people can migrate to me and use me, you know? And sadly, the guy we're talking about multiple times has disrespected me and really doesn't know when to stop. And so, like, what am I supposed to do? Keep helping somebody who cuts me down? So this is like multiple times I've gotten space from this person, and this person with their talents are able to maybe confuse some people and create some divide between me and those people, because those people don't talk to me directly. But yeah, that's what that's what's going on. So what's really cool about the situation, though, is that you learn from people that disagree with you. You know, people who are different than you. Whenever it is that you want to argue a point, like in my head, I'll be at my house, arguing points out that I couldn't get out whenever we were talking in public or in private. And you know, you learn from your adversary, because you find the flaws that you want to point out in somebody else, you find them inside of yourself. But yeah, our two personalities, to take it even further, our two personalities are, somebody has to take the back seat. Somebody has to allow the other person to take the lead. Well, there's just problems that occur. I just don't want to get all messy. Like, oh yeah, this one time, and then this other time, and then oh yeah, this thing. Yeah. So, because you heard about it, Bitfinesse, it must be loud right now. But I'm still cruising. And yes, I do want everybody to succeed. That is number one, is that I have put a lot of work into making it to where we can spread HEX to more and more people, the word of HEX. So if anybody has complaints about me, then I wonder if if they've recognized and attempted to be a part of the things that me and other people have set up so that we can build. That's one of my biggest complaints is somebody coming at me and they're just complaining. And it's like, well, how about some constructive criticism so that we can build together? How about you allow me to understand why it is that you feel this way and what it is that we can potentially do together? Um, this sucks being prompted on this topic whenever it is that I don't have the other person here so that you can actually see this back and forth. Okay, onward. Now that I destroyed this stream. Um, people are excited. People think there's a lot of money to be made in Pulse Chain. And so Pulse Chain is prepped for success. Right meow. So if you're not in crypto, I encourage you to contact a friend, contact myself, or because in that way you might be able to use like a debit card or a credit card to instantly buy some crypto and have it sent to a wallet that you download on your cell phone or your desktop computer. Or you could just download Coinbase. Coinbase.com. Coinbase is Coinbase has an app on your phone. It is a very, very large organization. So it's like one of those too big to fail situations, too big to fuck you over situations. Excuse me. I shouldn't have cussed. And also, if it is that you have other people who are interested in joining crypto, then you could pass them your referral link and they could, every time that they buy, no, initially, when they buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, then you get $10 worth of Bitcoin instantly. So that's pretty cool. But I recommend Coinbase because that might be a way that you could on ramp and off ramp. And what I mean by that is to get into crypto and then maybe to pull some profits back out of crypto through that same account that would be connected to your bank account. So when you set up a Coinbase account, they'll want to know more about exactly who you are. So you'll need to give them maybe like a photo, a picture of your license, your driver's license, if you have one. And then also your bank account. So it would connect over the course of a few days and you'd be ready to buy. And so therefore, the sooner you connect these things, the sooner you can start playing around with this stuff. To give you an example of how things have been going, like there's this crypto called Doge, Doge. It has a picture of a dog as the logo, and it's a very, very early cryptocurrency coin. You used to be able to get a ton of it for just a penny. And so it was like it was really low price for a very long time, and it was even made initially as a joke because often that's what happens in meme coin crypto stuff. Well, it was 20 cents last week, and today it rose to 44 cents. So it completely doubled. You know, you had 100% earning just in a week. Is it going to maintain that? I don't know. Probably. The reason why I say probably, there was initial purchasing what influenced people to drive over to it is this Elon Musk always mentioning it, and then Elon Musk getting this opportunity with, I think Vivek is his partner in the Department of Government Efficiency. Now, if you turn that into an acronym, that's DOGE, right? So, and then he also on Twitter, no, is that right? I think on Twitter, in one of his posts about the Department of Government Efficiency, I think he had a Doge dog in it. And so it really prompts people to like, oh, well, I'm going to speculate on this and purchase some of it. So you can buy crypto in a lot of places, and then there are systems that check prices all across the board and make them even out, as well as people who integrate from one pool to another to have it to where like the price stays the same, but those people are rewarded. They'll earn a little bit whenever they do that. So you're not going to have too much of a difference in the price of a crypto coin, from one market exchange to another, is what I'm trying to say. What are other things that I could talk about to update people on? The drama that happens inside of my head and in my life and on my cell phone and in my Twitter account is small ass beans compared to everything that happens inside of Hexaco that we call it. So like the community at large is doing absolutely fantastic. Everybody who has participated with us still has it bookmarked, and we're getting more people. And those people are being told to do their research, which is wonderful, because you have open-minded people coming to what you have evaluated and believe in, and you believe to be the truth engine. And then here comes new open-minded people to evaluate it themselves, and therefore they have a huge grasp on it, a strong grasp on it, whenever it is that they digest it, analyze it. So those people are stuck from that influence, from that time period. Let's see. Daraj Moray, he's doing the Hex Asians, and he's thinking about creating something else as well, and expanding off from Hex Asians. He and I manage another stream called the Hex Guild. We've been a little bit dry lately. Just, all sorts of things, including the price, have made it to where we hadn't done a stream in a while. Like, who are the guests? Because we'll always interview people who are in relation to regenerative agriculture in some facet that somehow connects to regenerative agriculture. That's what we're interested in, and health, right? And so when the price dipped, there's all sorts of drama. There's people who need to pay attention to other things instead of being very attentive inside of the Telegram groups. So that happened as well. And I guess myself as well. Like He slowed down a little bit. I definitely slowed down a bit. I needed to pay attention to some other things around here. So we've just been through the ringer here in the bear market. Um, the HEX Texas group on Telegram is doing well. There's a lot of Texas nationalist movement activity inside there. We've been talking politics because of the election, because we are a huge state with 40 electoral votes. The presidency was acquired by only 270 electoral votes, and we were 40 of those here in Texas. And so we were for the winner. We were for Donald Trump and the red and the Republicans. Um, hmm. Here's a question I got for you. Who wears the cowboy hat better? Matty Allen or Trap Gravity? I was thinking about tweeting that the other day. I might still follow through with that. And so if you've given me an address, you've got mail coming to you. Have no fear. It is on its way. And then also that chiropractic guy, let's see, how do I call him out? The Canadian chiropractor who showed up on RG3 stream a few times recently. Please answer your DMs. You didn't give me a address number, nor did you give me a street. So I've got your business name. I'm gonna reverse look that up here soon. But I was an idiot enough to put exactly what you wrote in the messenger, right? Without the number and the street name, and then it came back to me. I just overlooked that. It was hilarious. All the way to Canada and all the way back to Texas. How silly. But yeah, we're at a 1-to-10 ratio. And so some people are speculating like, okay, well, if I've got 1,000,000 PHEX, is it worth 10 million EHEX? Or is EHEX going to fail a little bit lower in price while we continue to try to figure out price discovery on everything? I think 1-to-10 is a hell of a ratio. If it went to 1-to-20, I would totally change. I would totally not change my whole bag, but I would totally take that opportunity. I would definitely trade 5 million, maybe at least 1 million just to take the chance. 1 million PHEX for 20 million EHEX. And then I don't know if I would keep that liquid or stake it for a year and a half or stake it for 15 years and just get it way out there. I'd probably do the crazy thing and just stake it for 15 years and say, okay, well, if EHEX is going to work out, it's going to work out. And then I'd buy a little bit more Ethereum and put it in that wallet so that I wouldn't be caught off guard with gas fees. So I probably owe a few people apologies from Twitter Spaces where I said that I would defend the EHEX price, because whenever it was 1-to-2 and 1-to-3 and 1-to-4, I was concerned with acquiring PHEX. I did not defend that EHEX price. And now that it's at 1-to-10, I'm, if it goes to like 1-to-20, 1 to 15, I'll probably start buying it. I'll probably start defending the price at that point. So some people think that the two different hexes are making it to where uh, it's weakening the power of the people who have the opportunity to buy it. It's like if we had it consolidated to only one ticker, it would be much more powerful. Some people think that. So that our community is not buying enough to um to to keep both prices up at the same time. There are other people who think that it's going to go to parity. The prices are going to be the same at some point, whether it's a year, 6 months, or 2 years. It's going to pair. And you know what I think? I think it's going to trail 1 to 10 for possibly until the next bull. I don't know though. This is just my gut feeling based on me reading the community. And then what are other people thinking? I guess those are the three. Some people think that it's dead. Some people think that it'll trail. And some people think that it'll pair. And this is probably what prompted me talking about earlier. Like, people on the internet will tell you all sorts of things, and not necessarily are they following through with the same advice that they're giving you. Pretty crazy. But yeah, thanks for being here. Bitfinesse, Hexakin Lost in Asia, Daraj Moray, and whoever else out of the 53 eyes that I can see have passed through or are still here. If you're over there on Facebook, recognize that there is a bull market time period right now for Bitcoin, and a lot of these large banking organizations are acquiring Bitcoin. And so even though they've been talking crap about it for, like, on the TV, they've been poo-pooing. I'm using my mothering terms here. Even though they've been talking bad about Bitcoin, they've been preparing to buy it. So you're going to have more and more people in your vicinity out there on the street. You'll hear the little conversations on the sidewalk. You'll hear the conversations in the coffee shop. You'll hear it amongst employees at a restaurant, bookstore, whatever. So that's why I say acquiring a Bitcoin or a Coinbase account may not be a bad idea. And what's so great about crypto is it's money without government. You can choose where to do business, to transact, and then it's away from the government inflating your money away, because that's supposedly that's the reason why the prices for your goods are going up, is that the government is creating more money, or the organization that the government has a, let's say, contract with, which is the Federal Reserve. Those folks are printing the money. And it's funny, I came across something on Twitter recently where, like, now that Donald Trump won the election, somebody was asking the chair of the Federal Reserve, if they asked you to step down, would you? And the guy said no. And then the reporter is just like confused. So the reporter asks, well, it's like a press conference situation. Well, why not? Do you feel like you're not, you don't need to respond to him? You don't need to take advice from these people, right, in government. And the guy's like, yeah. Like, he doesn't have to elaborate on it. It was straight up. I know where I stand. It's outside of government. Do what I want. Print money. All right, y'all. Hexkin Lost in Asia says that Tyson and Jake Paul starts soon on Netflix. Must see TV. Can you confirm that they are warming up right now? Because if so, I will completely end this stream. On a health note, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope that you guys are treating yourselves appropriately. Finn Bear has been talking about the carnivore diet a lot, and I finally took him up on that. And I've been almost carnivore for a few months now, and I really feel good. Now, I've also been supplementing with copper and zinc, magnesium, potassium. I've been supplementing with a lot of things. So I cannot recommend more that you get the right things, that you put the right stuff in your body. Because if you abuse your body, your mind's going to get stuck in a loop. You're going to have the same reactions day after day to the same old stuff. And it's almost like life isn't worth living if without that awareness. I don't know who needs to hear that. My journey towards looking for advice like that started with podcasts back in 2008. 2008 was when I first started downloading podcasts from the Apple Store or iTunes, whatever it was. I would download it onto my personal laptop, and then I would take that laptop every day with me to work and set it up right next to me as if it was my iPhone, playing off these podcasts. See, back then we did have iPhone 1, but I didn't have one, and I don't know if it had an app that was able to play podcasts and download them. I guess it would, because those things were in the Apple Store in the first place. But yeah, I downloaded podcasts about education system, health systems, farming systems, banking systems. That was when I first found Peter Schiff. I found Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. I found Paul Wheaton, one of my mentors in permaculture. Permaculture is a wonderful thing because nature is a system. And a lot of things that are organic and sustainable are systems. So if you can read nature, then you can be a lot more comfortable and manipulate it to do what you want to do. Just like building something. Somebody manipulated the wood that's inside the walls of my house. Justo Flores, what's up? Says, what's up? Hex mooning. Is it? Has it gone over 2 cents? Because my scroller down here at the bottom has it at, let's see, 1.96 cents. Let's see, this live stream has been going on for an hour. I hope I didn't go too far on the tangent earlier. I know I'm missing one thing inside the community. Something about the iPhone that I was thinking about earlier was when you had an iPhone 1, you couldn't copy and paste. So if you wrote out a long text message or an email, you couldn't cut or copy and paste in different places. So like it was so annoying. You couldn't go into like the text only portion of your softwares and preliminary write something out or write a draft email and then be like, okay, I want to place that over here in a reply email. Couldn't do it. I know I'm missing something. So what I've been doing lately is recording short little mind things, little tiny videos. And my idea was that I was going to stitch them together like I did on a video recently on this Hex Futures channel. However, like over the course of a month, they just start piling up. And then like me expanding on a subject will just go on for 10 minutes. And then I'll think like, am I really going to compile this and put this together with something else? You know, like this 1 minute followed by a 2 minute, followed by a 10 minute, followed by a 5 minute. And then it's like, are people really going to be entertained by this? I don't know. So I'm sure I have a few things that I'm missing about our progress in our community, but everybody's chiming in. Everybody's chiming in right now. We've got the SEC basically backing up against the ropes. We might be able to counter. Oh, here's something. Richard tweeted yesterday that there are 18 states that are suing the SEC. They're suing them because there's some act that has it to where it's like, this is the framework that staff at the SEC are able to stay within. And they've gone beyond that. 18 states as of yesterday are suing the SEC. Donald Trump is the president-elect now. He's not going to take office until I think it's like the 20th of January. I thought it was going to be like so much earlier than that. So I might be wrong about that date. Well, Trump is starting to appoint people to positions. And for health, for the Health and Human Services, he's putting JFK Jr. there. JFK Jr. has a target with Fauci's name on it, which I cannot be more excited about, because Fauci, back during COVID, would tell you an extreme thing, and then a month later, a less extreme thing, and then a month later, a less extreme thing, and a less extreme thing. And it was so bad because he was freaking people out, and he was making it very uncomfortable to be a normal human being inside of our urban fabrics. Like, to the point where I would be in the grocery store getting bad looks and possibly people confronting me because I'm not wearing a mask. I'm putting other people in danger. However, there's people playing sports that are all up on each other. There are people who are exchanging objects that they're breathing on and interacting with, like even petting a dog, and then that dog comes to the next person, and it's like, oh well, COVID can't exist on dog's hair. If it can exist on a doorknob for a week, like you say it can, then it can definitely exist on a fly that lands on me and then lands on you. Anyway, he's got this guy named Gates that likes to tear up. that likes to. I mean, he's a guy who's been in government, but he's something. He is something. Gates is something. And then Gabbard, and Vivek, and Elon. Trump is allowing. I don't know how much I trust this whole situation, because, like, at the same time they're making things more efficient, they're also relying more on computers. So it's a bit scary. Like, am I a hypocrite for being into crypto and talking about it this way? I don't know. But what is really interesting about this is these people that he's appointing, they've been calling out the wrongs for a while now, and they've been doing it publicly. So they've got a lot of energy towards what they're doing, and they're also around the age of 40. They're not like one of them is 39. I think Vivek is 39 or so. And then the rest are like 40, 42, 44. I don't know how old Elon is, so exclude him from this. But it's very interesting that we're having it to where these millennial kind of generation is stepping up, giving the opportunity, and actually seems like they're going to correct some things. So I'm really excited about it. Hexagon Lost in Asia is not telling me whether they are fighting right now, so I think I should call it quits. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I am Eco Builder in Georgetown, Texas. Come over here and have a meal on me. We will talk about HEX, most definitely. I will introduce you to Richard Hart. And, oh, he says, no, not yet. Pre-fights. Hexagon on Asia, Lost in Asia. Thank you very much. Female fight now. Okay. I'm used to that on the UFC stuff, right? I'm concerned that Tyson's an older guy. He's 58. And this Jake Paul guy, he's 26, 27, something like that. I actually thought he was a little bit older than that, based on how popular he was or something. I hope that the population hasn't been desensitized to the dangers that Tyson is taking on here by getting in the ring with somebody who is what, 30 years younger. I'm actually concerned, and I hope that there's no need for me to be concerned. In fact, I hope that Tyson wins. I'm not rooting for the white guy. I'm rooting for the black guy. I don't think that Jake Paul is a very well thought out person, and Mike Tyson, he in the last however many years, he's really become a spiritual person. Let's say he's he's uh, he's really opened his mind. And he's also publicly shared his philosophies and his experiences with people, and that's a wonderful thing. We we need people to communicate these things so that there's not just this continued degenerate loop um, that the powers that be probably want in society. Consumerism. So I'm just concerned that the population doesn't, because they've watched so much UFC. It's gotten so much. It's become so common for two guys to get in a ring and beat the shit out of each other, to where like they can't even see through their eyes anymore. And there's blood all over the mat from the opponents before you, like whenever you enter the ring and stuff. And there's so many of them. There's so many fights, one after the other before the main event. I'm just concerned that people aren't really recognizing the dangers that people are putting themselves in whenever they get in the ring. But hopefully it'll be a fair fight. Nobody's got any hidden hard surfaces inside their gloves and stuff. Um, I, I think I saw a YouTube recently where somebody was cheating and the opponent ended up dying. Um, they ended up having problems for a week, and then they had a very very early unexpected, or well, actually it was probably expected, but very early death, um, maybe 3 years after their fight, but they were never the same again. And then there's the situation where that Algerian male went up against and went to the Olympics for women's boxing and beat the shit out of everybody. And then like maybe there were a few women who like bowed out of it and were just like, I can't do this. But I think for the final match, the female that was up against him, because this is the whole um, males in women's sports transgenderism. I think the story is that like 90 seconds into this female fighting the male in round one, I think she looked to um, her coach and her group and just said like, there's no way that I can win this. There's this person's physical capabilities are far beyond me. All right, don't need to talk about that. So yeah, inside of each of these envelopes, I probably have 13 cards and some stickers. And so imagine how many conversations can be had about 13, right? And that'll prompt people who have it on their dresser before they go out, pop it in your pocket or keep it in your wallet or the console in your car. But I really recommend, um, let's see, like put it with your wallet or your keys and take it to the store with you. Maybe the grocery store, you'll be in line with somebody and you'll have an opportunity to make some conversation, or you know, all over the place. And then you might have a conversation with a person that you have a lot in common with, and then you could just easily ask, "Hey, have you looked into crypto yet?" Like the last time I did that here on the town square, this guy who's a local guy, he's just like me. He's a bachelor, about the same age, lives alone, and roams the town and just uses the town like we would use any city. However, it's just different because there's less of a population and less of a density, right? We use the cityscape as a park, you know? Like there's sidewalks and there's green spaces and there's restaurants and bars and every a few little cool shops, ice cream stuff. It's a fun place to hang out, and especially if you've got acquaintances and girlfriends and whatever. So this guy and I chatted, and I think he said that he had acquired some Shiba. I'm not sure though. He said that he likes those meme coins, and I just drop a little bit of what I'm into and why I'm into it. And, if he's interested in learning more from my perspective, then he'll ask me about it. And he knows he's welcome to do it. I saw him earlier today, whenever I was getting this beer, actually. He was inside the pizzeria having a conversation with some guy I didn't recognize. Um, and, uh, and so there wasn't an opportunity to exchange any words. It's just, hey, so, but it's those sorts of things, like the integration of crypto into our lives is going to take time. It's going to be slow, but you know, whenever it is that we introduce an idea to somebody, we think that we can be somebody else's authority for that subject, when really we're probably not going to be the person that uh, gets that person influenced into it. We're going to be just another number to them. Like, oh, whenever they talk to who they think is an authority on the subject, who they think that they can trust on the subject, they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I've talked to a lot of people about it. It seems like a lot of people are into it." And whenever they're talking a lot, then you're one of those numbers. So maybe they've had conversations with 3 or 4 people about what crypto is. Great. Allow them to learn at their own pace, because you don't want to rush them into doing anything with their finances that they're not comfortable with, you know? Which which is the exact reason why I don't talk about other coins other than what's underneath the Richard Hart umbrella, you know? Um, because I can't live with myself telling people things that I don't think are working. Um, and that reminds me of something that HEX is the Way shared with me earlier. We call him Highway for short. Um, but he's also, lately, I think he goes by the name Pulse DCA. So Pulse Dollar Cost Average acronym. He passed me a video that I saw several months ago whenever it was new. And there was this guy, I think it was in the Philippines. It was a crypto convention in the Philippines, and he was up on stage for 20 minutes. He did a really good, fast talk. I actually had to slow it down. He was talking so fast. And he was talking about how, like, a cryptocurrency needs uh, a movement, a cult, or a brand in order for it to be successful. And I think that he pointed to, like, Apple being a cult, right? And and then he said Bitcoin's come around to have its cult culture as well. But he was also labeling things that will not succeed in a long-term format or on a long-term basis. So, like, at the top of a pyramid that he was showing on the screen, there was religious movement or something like that, and then below that was um, cult. Anyway, down at the bottom was shit coins. So somehow he was able to separate memes from shit coins, because he was just fine defending memes. He was saying that, like, yeah, there's going to be a million coins created, like a million different meme coins, but there's going to be a few of them that have a brand, a movement, or a cult attached to them that are actually going to succeed. Wow, DB Zen asks, thoughts on 9-inch stealing user funds on CoinQuest. Lots of people got robbed. Well, I never had anything to do with 9-inch. That's sad, man. So they're not gonna honor any of it. So I've heard that some people are, like, creating coins, creating liquidity pools, and then rugging the liquidity pools. I never have done those actions, so I don't know. And then I never have used 9-inch, which is an exchange for people who don't know. And then they might have had their own coin as well, 9-inch coin. And why is it called 9-inch? Because people are expanding our culture a bit, and they're talking about the male member. DBZen responds, I can send details, but yeah, they stole it all. It's unfortunate. 9-inch tells a lot of lies. So this goes to, us talking about how people in crypto could be, like, people on the internet could be coming from all sorts of angles. Ivan Ramirez is here commenting, yeah, 9-inch coins only go down, lol. So people come into crypto and they play you. That's what's up. And that's why I spoke about trap earlier today. That's why That's why people like Trap. People like him. Let's see. More like that's why Trap and other people have a lean toward you're a bad person until you prove us otherwise. Because we've seen it over and over again. When the funds are not in your wallet, you might as well not have any agreement or anything with somebody. And then if you do have the coins in your wallet, you have to worry about the architecture to the coin on the blockchain. Is this structure appropriate? Is it going to just fall apart? Can somebody move it around? Can somebody change it afterward? Is it worth holding on to? Is it even worth interacting with in the first place? What I'm interacting with, do I want to give it permissions to my wallet? Immediately afterwards, do I need to erase the permissions? So I'm sorry to hear that, DB Zen. And because you have Zen in your name, I wonder if you lost a lot of money with that situation. Are you emotionally affected and financially affected by what 9-inch has done? So I'm so far out of the loop that I'm not even sure who's running 9-inch. Like, I don't know the Twitter handles or the personnel to blame, but I would love to earmark that for my own head. Maybe even, allow folks who are watching this stream to understand who are the perpetrators. It might be Hexy Bastard who's behind 9-inch. Because then I'm not sure. I can't remember. Yo, I'm going slow on this beer. Only halfway through. See, I like buying one beer at a time so that I don't like have a 6-pack sitting there and I'm like, oh yeah, I could just have one more. I could just have one more. This camera was like, it was kind of like foggy whenever I was setting up the stream. So I turned it down. I turned it down to the lowest level of quality. And then I turned up the touch up appearance. So if it doesn't look the like usual, that's why. And then also, I'm not sitting in this big chair back here. I'm not sitting in it. It gave me a little bit of leg problems, I think. Like I have some swollen ankles that I'm dealing with because I was a dumbass and got in a tree and trusted the wrong branch. Because I am athletic and stuff, and I have dealt with falls before, and I just had to deal with this one. So currently, I'm icing my ankles every day if possible, just for better health and prevention and stuff. And so I think this chair, by the seat on it, kind of made it to where my feet were oddly positioned. And so I went back to a better ergonomic chair that's kind of like an office chair. It's a really expensive one. I got it whenever I was doing a lot of drafting in the offices. And so I'm sitting in front of that larger chair in the background. So it's just a prop back there. I can pull it forward to get more of that light back there. And then this over here, this candle holder, I need to go up to the shop, to the commercial space, and grab some more green candles so we can have some green candles because it's green candle time period. All right, DB Zen says it was harming. Lost a few G's. My goodness. Hexy Bastard runs 9-inch Coin Quest, but there is a ton of shady characters that help him. I trust RH only. Yeah, man. So I don't know if Hexy Bastard is going to see this or not, but Hexy Bastard came to our community when we were experiencing our highs back in 21, late 21. Was it late 21 or was it early 21? So he's over there in Britain, and I'm not from there, so I think I'm calling it out. Okay, can I just say Britain, or do I have to say England, or do I have to say the UK? So he's over there, and I think his employment at the time was unemployment, and I think he was used to doing cold calls. I think he was used to being employed by a call center. And I don't know how old this guy is. I don't know how old Hexy Bastard is. But he came on the scene, and I don't like at some point I got on screen with him, and you could see that he was interested in like whatever's new. If Hex is starting to retrace downward, then he's interested in what can he get into to make wealth in crypto. He wants to do that, but he also wants to be buddies with people in our community. He did something that the rest of us didn't do because we respected Richard and the community. He created HEX-spiracy, which is like hex and conspiracy put together. HEX-spiracy Telegram group. So we used to all be cooped into the HEX Telegram group, which is t.me/hex crypto. Well, he like over there in that space, we couldn't talk about the obvious stuff like that we wanted to talk about with world governance. So we kind of just held our tongue. But whenever Hexy Bastard came around, he recognized that he could be, I guess, of importance by creating a space for us to talk about conspiracies. So he created that group. And there's some good people in that group. There's some really good people because we all wanted to spill out somewhere, but yet the people who had been around for a while, we wanted to respect, the community and not make something, not just start making group after group after group and start to split up everybody, So, so that was kind of like part of his introduction or his establishing himself. And I think that he came on my stream because I have everybody on my streams over at the Hex Guild, and which was Hex Foodies, where we talk about everything in relation to regenerative agriculture, um, and all around that. And you can find us over at t.me/Hex Foodies. Because like I come from the architecture field, but while I was in college, I recognized that I wanted to integrate architecture with nature. And so I just have this fascination with the systems of nature and how we could have um, a different cityscape, a different urban scape, a different rural scape. Um, but so he was a guest on mine at some point, but I was also a guest on his. And one time when I was a guest on his, he said, or like, I popped in there, and there was this Pulse casino of some sort. Was it Pulse? I think they took the Pulse name, but Pulse wasn't created yet. And so there was a spinning wheel, and it was a casino type game thingamajigger, and you could go there and ante up your crypto and spin that wheel. And I think maybe like multiple people could play at a time. And so he was displaying this, and then I'm coming on as a Hexican, and I'm like, I'm wealthy off of Hex, so I'm gonna talk about Hex, and like, why waste your money on this? Why not get your ladder staked out so that you can for sure have something in the future, um, to your surprise in the future. And so like I could tell on his face that he was just like disappointed with what I had to say, because it's just like it's taking the energy away from the exciting prize winning turning of the spinning of the wheel. And so I don't think we ever talked again after that. And and then I learned later on that he was doing the 9-inch stuff, and then I witnessed him like renting a Lambo, I think, like after the sacrifice of the 9-inch stuff. I think he rented a Lambo and then did like some sort of a commercial or something like that, as if he had become wealthy all of a sudden. And then just recently I remember him going to one of the meetups. I think it was like Vegas, like PulseCon or something. And then him and Crypto Coffee were, uh, I don't know, drunk and play fighting in a lobby of some sort while they were waiting for their valet or something. I don't know. So long story long. I didn't need to tell you all of that. Um, and I want you to know that I don't keep tabs on that person, but there are people in our community who do keep tabs on all the people that they think are bad actors. And Trap is one of those examples. Trap Gravity. um uh id ID Block is an example of another person who watches out for threats to our community. um and has like ID is a guy who's been here for a long, long time, and he's been an admin. He's been a person who walks people through multiple stages of what they should be doing with crypto. So I really do have a lot of faith in Identity Block. Um, but it's hard to keep track of all the threats that keep on coming or passing our bow in crypto. It's really hard. In fact, like I get annoyed with it. Like, do I really have to spend mental energy in analyzing what this person's possible intentions could be and keep track in memory? Like, where have I seen this? Put all the pieces together. Um, when did this person come on the scene? And then also there's the background conversations that I don't know anything about, you know? So if you ever go to a meetup, recognize that everybody who has conversations, they already know each other. They've already been talking to each other for a long time. They literally are embracing each other because they're already friends. Which means there's steps in conversation and intentions. There's steps before you, and most likely you're the odd man out. So like me and the Texas guys, we have pure intentions, most of us, the ones that I'm thinking about, and we don't have these sly these games where we're gonna present something in the future. We're not saying like, hey, we're gonna create a coin, we're gonna rival Richard, we're gonna take Richard down, we're gonna make it to where Richard has to respect us, we're gonna make it to where we're shoulder to shoulder with Richard. I want to sit on the throne right next to him, or bring him down to my sub throne. That's been a learning curve for me, because when you meet a lot of crypto people, they might tell you within the first conversation that they're capable of launching something equivalent to HEX. That's a red flag. That's red flag number one. And with how many devs are available to do these sorts of things, and how all it takes is just a little bit of money, and hell, the dev wants it, they want to be a part of it to collect some funds. So maybe all it takes is for somebody to be aware of what the playground looks like and what the fences look like. Then they're ready to present it to the people who are already familiar with them. The problem is it's destructive to trust just anything with your money, which we've talked about a little bit. But it also creates a ticker that competes with the original tickers, or ticker, to where you're spreading the financial power out. And that's why the HEX maximalists don't like it. But that's also why the HEX maximalists ever got that name, because people wanted to bastardize, how appropriate, right? Bastardize the folks that would stand up against them, creating a new ticker and dividing our purchasing power from just one ticker into multiple tickers, let's say. So I have thought about a coin once, let me go ahead and admit, but it was because I was thinking about it for the postcard group. And I was thinking of some entanglement where it would be very rare and there would be some sort of like reward situation competing to then get to the top donator for the postcards. And then I forgot exactly how it went. In fact, I have a map of it. I'm gonna let that be. I'm gonna grab it. I'll grab it. Oh, that was upside down. All right, here is that. I was trying to figure out how to raise funds for the postcard group, and the leader of the postcard group was just like, creating a token would be a bad idea. So therefore, we just continued to only take donations. And yes, mind you, every dollar that goes to donations is sent out. And I'm on this with HEX Fan Network, Victor, and Togosh, and Philip Banks, and myself, Eco Builder. We're the team over at hexpostcards.com. Okay, I have some comments from earlier that DBZen says, do you have any other Telegram groups you're in or recommend? Okay, so let me pull those up. I already mentioned the Hex Guild, which is at t.me/hexfoodies, because that was the original name. Richard's Calls, which have been deleted, but maybe they'll pick up later on whenever Richard's back and active. So that's t.me/Richard's Calls. Hex Texas, t.me/Hex Texas. Do you know about Strape? That's Richard's original Telegram group. It's basically his conspiracy theory area. t.me/Strape, as in strawberry grape. STRAPE. I didn't realize that's like street rape. ST rape. There is the Hex Church, which is labeled free speech. There's only 108 members here. I don't know what type of people would like this. I don't know if it's invite only. I don't even know the address to it. I think that one's invite only, because I don't see an address. If you want to get into that, then either hit up Hex Decimal or Benny Blanco, or myself on Telegram. Hexspiracy, that's t.me/Hex Spiracy. And Scivive, t.me/Scivive. That's SCIVIV. If y'all haven't read Scivive, that would be good. You could find SJ's YouTube channel where she's reading it out, and she has it coupled as a playlist. So but then you have SJ's voice, and maybe she talks slow and soft for you, and maybe you'll get lost in her voice rather than the content. When I read Sci-Vive, I had it to where I was copying and pasting portion by portion into like Google Translate or PDF Reader or something like that, something free online. So I remember I had my desk in a totally different position in this room, and I was doing like push-ups on the floor and push-ups and sit-ups, and then I'd get back up, like while I'm on my knees right next to the desk, and move the mouse and copy paste and then start again and go back to doing the push-ups. I got through Sci-Vive in like a day and a half, I think, doing that. I'm not the best reader, as from what you can see with me reading your comments. So I allowed the computer to read it. And at that time, it was a much less edited Sci-Vive. So I had to deal with a bunch of things, but it also made me think quite a bit, and it made me take it slow and stuff. And at that time, we were waiting on HEX to be created. We were just waiting in the Telegram room of HEX Crypto. So we had plenty of time to learn as much as we could, before we had this financial opportunity. I think Identity Block has a group he might be interested in me sharing with you. What is it? Identity Blocks. It doesn't read out. It doesn't read out for me. Identity Block has this group called HEX Militia. So you spell that MULISHA. Identity Block is over there in Puerto Rico. He's Puerto Rican. So I don't know if he was born there. He has this connection to Kansas City. So I don't know if he was born on the main continent or out there. I don't see the address to this, but you could get in touch with Identity Block and be invited into that if you want to be a part of spreading the word about the bad actors in our community. There's the HEX Postcards group, which is t.me/HEX Postcards. Anybody can come and be a part of this and witness our conversations inside that group and add to it, of course. And every once in a while, we'll run a contest and actually have it to where there's a cash prize for designing and stuff. So we would want a side A and a side B to every postcard that's about 6.5 by 9 inches. We might change the size of the postcards in order to make it more financially capable, I guess. But for right now, we like the larger size of postcard because it makes it to where the recipient has to deal with it in a way. It like sticks out no matter what size or almost no matter what size their mail is. It usually sticks out, and then hopefully they'll put it on their countertop and look at it multiple times. It won't just go straight into the trash. And it's Philip Banks. He's been doing printing his whole life. That's his company, but he does printing for us nonprofit. So everything's at cost, the lowest possible cost. And then also on hexpostcards.com, we actually have a website, hexpostcards.com. We have hexpostcards.com/instructions is a secret page. That's /instructions. And it'll walk you, there's the capabilities of walking you through how to design and print and mail with other people besides us as well, to where you could just do it yourself. You don't even have to go through Philip Banks. his printing. But if you do go through him, it's some quality stuff. It's thick cardstock, and it's uh, good printing and glossed and UV protected and all that stuff. I was recently invited to Vet's crypto thingamajigger, Vets in crypto. I'm not a vet. I straight up told the whoever operates the Vets in crypto account, like, I'm not a vet. I'm not interested. And they're just like, yeah, it's for everybody, but I we don't sing the same tune. There's a lot of vets inside of Hex. Oh my gosh, there's tons of them. RG3 is one. Hexo is one. Um, uh, that Will Stevens guy, who I think is a big part of this vets and crypto thing. Like Will Stevens, he contacted us inside. Where was it? He contacted us inside, I think, the postcards group, and then Victor, who is over here in Texas, he chimed in and said, "Hey, I've already documented uh, all the different hexagon groups and what their Telegram thing is, like groups based on your geography. So is there a Texas group? Yes. Is there a Northwest group that's run by Valiant Brand? Yes. You know, and then just on and on and on. So California, you guys need to get on the ball and create a Telegram group. I know that you guys don't have one. I think Florida has one. But the idea was that Will Stevens, whenever he came into our community, with the, him and what, two other people created the DGen crypto roundtable thing, Majigger, and then somehow teamed up with RG3's situation with the Discourse Syndicate. Well, Will Stevens was interested because his job is all around the nation. So he was interested in having meetups as he goes throughout the nation. And so he was really interested in helping people group together at each of those locations and stay in touch. And so we helped him out by sharing that Excel table with him that had everybody's, who's the group leader and where's the location and where on Telegram or where are they located. Oh yeah, if you're on Facebook, you might be interested in finding all the different groups on Facebook. There's a Hex crypto group, there's a Pulse Chain one, there's a Pulse X one, and I guess they have the different groups so that they can just keep the topics separate. But there's like 25,000 people inside the Hex crypto group. There's a ton. I believe Hex Mac is the admin of the Hex group on Facebook. Okay. Um, there's a Hex design group. So that's t.me/Hex design. I think there's an advertising one that's completely dry right now. I created one for 3D printing. So t.me/Hex print 3D. That's Hex print 3D. And something else that I'm looking at right here, DOS Bomb. He's an admin in almost everything. He's an organizer and he's a creator. Well, he's been doing accumulating of all sorts of like resources if it is that you want to be an influencer, I guess. So he's acquired so many Hex meme images. He's acquired so many Hex files, so many, you know, all sorts of things, and put them in separate folders. So he's probably got like 20 different folders, all sorts of Hex content that he's accumulated over the years and organized, and it's all on a Google Drive of his. So if you want to have access to a lot of things that you could potentially shill Hex with, then contact DOSBomb. You spell that DAS space BAUM. And I think his Twitter, I think, is BK BPK DAS BAUM. It always throws me for a loop. Like, what's, you press the little @ symbol, and then like, how do I reach this person? What's their handle again? What is DOS bombs? It starts with a BPK. All right. So I'm just scrolling a little bit to see if one will pop out at me. But I think we covered the main groups that I'd like to pass on. All right, so let's catch up on the other comments that Pulse Chain Altcoin Talk put in here. He says, do you think Hexy B has a personality disorder? Ooh. If Hexy B had a personality disorder, then that just fits in line with all the rest of the shit here in crypto, right? Because I'm almost convinced that the best people just stay quiet and never even come to the scene at all. We got Tin Top jumping in here. What's up, Hexkins? Hey, Tin Top. Tin Top, I've been going on for 2 hours and 2 minutes now. I'm really surprised about that. I'm only 60% through this beer. I've got another beer in the fridge that's a smaller one, and then also Jake Paul and Mike Tyson should be battling it out here very soon, if not already. Hexkin Lost in Asia, please chime in or send me a comment if you're still here and if they start fighting. Thanks. Okay, so personality disorders of people in crypto. Hexkin in Asia says, Hexkin Lost in Asia. I'm sorry. The lost is a very important part of all this, you know? He says starting soon. Awesome. So I'm not late. None of us are late. Because I don't want to see girls fight. Like the girls were fighting. I do not want to see girls fight. I think that is so unattractive. I'm not. I don't want. I want a strong girl, but I don't want a girl that fights. What? He says Jake Paul is getting rolled in on a train track by a car. Okay. There's a car on a train track. Okay. With his entourage. Okay. So it's almost like a float. And he's got those boxer shorts on or whatever. I don't know what Mike Tyson was doing whenever he slapped him up there on stage. Whenever they were, I guess, weighing in the night before, Mike Tyson, like Jake Paul, knelt down, and then Mike Tyson thought that he was gonna like raise up and have at him and punch him or something, and then Mike just like slapped him like right here in the back jaw area. And good thing Jake Paul didn't do anything. I've never said Jake Paul's name so many times. I've probably only said it once and heard it a few times. In fact, Jake Paul was one of the names that popped up whenever that guy was talking about crypto out over here on the square in my downtown area, because he was, he wants to avoid something like what Jake Paul did with creating a celebrity coin. Jake Paul created his own coin and then basically rugged it, or like sold it off. That's another thing, is that the highway, HEX is the way, the pyramid structure that, or the video that he sent me earlier of that presentation that was in the Philippines at some sort of a conference of crypto, had that pyramid structure of talking about what you're wanting to look at, or what's going to be the best, and the most rare, unique coins. We talked about it as the one with the brands, the Colts, and the what was it? Brands, Colts, whatever that last thing was. Down at the bottom of it, it did say shit coins, but it also said right below shit coins, even worse, it said celebrity coins. Now that's there's freaking truth to that, right? Celebrities, they don't know what they're doing. They're paid actors, Okay, so Tin Top, he was just fine with the looks of those women. He'd wrestle with them. Awesome. So Jake Paul disrespected Tyson. He stepped on his foot with his shoes. Oh, one guy was without shoes and the other guy had shoes and he stepped on it. Okay. Uh-huh. It's a weigh-in. Why would you step on his foot? Yeah, keep your distance. Okay, so let's go back up to personality disorder. Okay, so we've got all sorts of people in crypto, and we've got it to where, like, people are approaching us because we have money inside of our community, and that money is pretty loose. So people feel as though they can get some of it. And that's what happened with the 50 million being sacrificed to liquid loans right after, or right in the midst of our pulse chain sacrifice. And then that ended, and then however many months later, we had our Pulse X sacrifice. And as you know, like, that one got more popularity. People kept on sacrificing after the final date. And Richard, after a few days of that happening, Richard was just like, okay, we're going to honor that too, but we're going to honor it based on the chart of, the parabola chart of credit. So you'd get much less credit because is more days beyond, but you would still get credit for the sacrifice that you gave, because otherwise those people would have nothing. And they just didn't understand the rules because they were so late, and everybody sees how well Hex has done, and they see that they missed out on Pulse Chain sacrifice because that was a hard stop end. And I think I didn't hear anything about people sacrificing too late for that. But definitely there were tons of people who came to the party with the Pulse X stuff. And you'll hear that throughout the community. People will admit to that. Not catching one, but catching the other. And I know that we have people who have abused their bodies staying at the computer. Like look at people's teeth, you know? Like they just ate snacks and they drank sodas at their desk, and then their teeth are like rotted because they didn't have interaction with people outside in order to impress them, right? Because that's one of the things that maintains my body is what other people think about me. And then also, like, I want to present myself to the females, you know? So people could let themselves go, but also they could be taking drugs and there could be medication as well, like say Adderall, and then people get stuck in Adderall from their youth. And we have a lot of folks who, like, I'm pretty old, but we have a lot of people who are like the college age in our community who aren't going to college. And those people might be straight out of their parents' house and they're struggling in this day and age, like with, you know, this wonderful economy that we've got going, you know, shoot. I mean, with COVID shutting everything mom and pop down, it's not easy to make a friend and a job real fast. So these people are probably stuck in the ways that their parents had them, and maybe that includes things like Adderall. I'm just bringing that up over and over because Adderall makes it to where you've got the same stream of thinking, and so you continue to hit the same points and to go through that same process, and you don't think outside of that. And there's all sorts of stuff like that I think people are struggling from. So personality disorder, I think a lot of people have it. I think sadly, I think that it's really interesting. Like, here we are putting out for 15 years, and some people are having health problems in their 20s and 30s. But yet we're putting out finances for beyond that. Like, we're really going to have to pay attention to ourselves and even to be happy at that point. And guys, keep in mind, you are nothing without your health. Make sure that you take care of your health. If you have to move and change your life in order to protect your health, and you guys who already have like a partner in life and possibly dependents, good luck to you. I don't have advice for you. I'm sorry. / you, of course, don't care. You made that decision already. But yeah, I think that we do have people who are struggling from mental illness in our community. And I think it's par for the course in crypto. And I think that people who come out in public are a very small percentage. Like, people who allow themselves to be known inside of crypto or inside their crypto community is such a small percentage, but yet the 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 amount of sane versus insane is it's probably like, you know, the whole 80-20 rule. Like probably whenever you're seeing people interact with crypto, probably only 20% of them are wise, I guess, folks. And then the other 80 are there for thrills and just to screw around. And there's also, like, you know, young people think that they're invincible, so they're not worried about tomorrow and what sort of bridges they burn or things that they sow. I'm just thinking about like how at the twice HEX conference in Vegas, I meet older men that are in crypto who are good people who never ever show their faces. And that's why, like, we need to also respect the people who do take up the baton or the flag and sort of are like a beacon, a place for people to migrate to. But then where is it that our criticism where is it that our criticism starts and stops with those people? Because they always need to be entertaining in order to continue to maintain an audience. But yet, do they sometimes go outside the boundary of our financial comfort zone and need to be reeled in? And then their ego doesn't listen to the rest of the community saying like, hey, you know, we think that this is inappropriate, whatever. So we desperately need your help. We need $375,000 within the next few days to save PulseCon. That was T Money, T Penny. Everybody has their like their good and bad side. So like T Penny, he fucked up big time because he mismanaged those funds. But I can say, in the previous year, I thank T Penny for setting up a hell of a hotel discount our first time going to Vegas. I stayed at the Aria Hotel. It was discounted. It was premium rooms. I had a great time. I mean, I don't like Vegas in general because it's concrete jungle and they starve you from water, but I think they starve you from water so that you'll get more intoxicated and you'll be a little bit off your rocker, and you'll get into gambling that you didn't mean to. So if you do go to Vegas, make sure that you have those hangover dry packs, you know, powders. Rip it open, pour it in there. It'll really help. Okay, so I'm guessing that the fight's probably starting. We'll report back is what Hexagon in Asia, Lost in Asia says. Okay, so the fight has started, guys. If y'all want to check that out, I'm going to read the rest of these comments, respond to them, and then go over to the fight. Either that or I'll pull up the fight right now on my other screen. Let's go to another comment. Pulse Chain Altcoin Talk says it's kind of scary in my opinion. He's referring to the Hexy Bastard possibility of the personality disorder. He also says Hex Postcards rocks. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, yeah, because we don't know who these people are, and we don't know what their intentions are. It would be interesting if, like, you have a conversation with somebody and then you say, like, okay, well, if you were wealthy from crypto already, like, had you been in crypto for 3 years already, and made all the right moves, would you be here right now doing the thing that you're doing? If the answer is no, like, hell no, I'd be out on the yacht, or hell no, I'd be out on the island or the beach, or the fuck you guys, I'd be doing this thing with girls and clubs. That pretty much tells you everything you need to know about their intentions, right? And yes, I have experienced that, where I'm the wealthy Hexican who's got all of his ducks in a row with his staked out ladder and money set aside stuff, and don't have to go, like, I've got fuck you money. I don't have to report to any employer or anything like that. And then I asked somebody, like, hey, would would we be having this conversation in this atmosphere if roles were reversed? And they would say, fuck you, fuck no. Well, that tells you a lot about that person, because they are not there for the passion. They are not there for the long-term sustainable relationship. Instead, they're there to get what they want. And what they want is money, and they want to do what they want to do with that money. Um, what else about personality disorders? I mean, would you say Maddie Allen has a personality disorder? That's an actual question. And I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't even know the first bit about all the different categorizations. But I do think that a lot of people have. Okay, so I mean, I spoke about it multiple times. RFK is doing stuff with health, and the reason why it's so important to me is because we are living in a system where there's uh, there's traces of toxins almost everywhere, and we're accumulating them as we progress in our life. We're slowly accumulating them. So if you have um, black plastic materials that you're cooking with, that is, you need to get rid of those. Like the stir stick, or the strainer, or the nonstick pan. Um, if you're using your microwave, you're poisoning yourself. If you're drinking tap water, you're poisoning yourself. If you eat out at restaurants, you don't necessarily know how they're cooking the food. If you eat fried food, most likely they're using a shit oil to fry that food. So you're taking on these carcinogens, and it's everywhere. And my point is that we humans, we have so much potential. We are amazing beings, but we'll continue to take on these microplastics and whatever other toxins there are, and it will affect us, and it will come out later on, and most likely it'll first show in your skin. You'll have some sort of a skin disorder. But what I'm trying to say with all this is like, we don't even know what we don't know. We don't know that we are set back. Huh. I think Eco Builder on Twitter just stopped working. So maybe there's like a 2-hour limit for my streaming over there. It had trouble during the stream. It's maybe an issue on X's side. Okay. So people taking it away from the personality disorder, like we could talk about health problems and issues and how that affects how people live their normal lives. And I just think that like we've normalized a lot of bad things. Like for example, no. What do I need to say? I was about to talk about autism, but that's different. I'm trying to think of like an autoimmune disease that's very, very common that we've just normalized. Like, I don't know, because I don't have them. But often, you know, we'll hear about how like doctors are like, oh, that's not a big deal. I've got a prescription drug that you can take for the rest of your life to maintain this thing. It's not a big deal. 60% of males your age get this thing. Well, it is a big deal because it shouldn't be fucking happening in the first place. So I challenge you guys to be the oddball out and find the natural health for yourself. So get to know your body better than the doctor ever would. That's one of the things that I told my dad in the last year. How fucking stupid would you be if you didn't know your body as well as, or like how stupid is it to hire a doctor who's supposed to see you for like 5 minutes and know your body better than you? That's silly. Just like a lot of us have told our parents, you work your entire life. You work 2,080 hours every year. That's the average. That's the average 40-hour work week. 2,080 hours a year. You do that to make money, and then you just throw it into the place where the financial advisor told you to. Why aren't you overseeing that yourself? You work so freaking hard in order to do it. And that's why we're in HEX. Okay. So let me progress and then maybe go to the fight. Let's see. Fight. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not going to bring it up on the screen because I don't want to have this thing deleted, even though I cursed a bunch and I made financial and health advice. Oh no, this person isn't showing it. Okay, comments. Hexagon Lost in Asia is still away. Did I catch up on all the comments? Mike Tyson walks to the ring as always like a professional in the black trunks and towel. Okay, so there's some respect here. All right, y'all. I guess that's it. Okay, so if you have any ideas for postcard stuff, you're welcome to come over to the postcards group. If you would like to support anything that I do financially, then please go make a donation over at the postcards group. So hexpostcards.com. And then up at the top, you'll see a tab that says donate. We've got a Patreon group and we've got an Ethereum and Pulse Chain wallet listed. The Patreon group, I would love it so much if we got more members over there. That way I can brag about how many members we have. And I'm a member at $1 a month. And if you could afford that, I think that would be freaking awesome. Once again, it's kind of for bragging stuff, but heck, if we got enough people to do it, we could send out on a regular postcards. You know what I mean? So lately we sent out, I think we sent out to like two or three different. I wanted to say four at the beginning, but I don't think we got that many zip codes, but like two or three different zip codes. I think we got with the Silver the Antidote's donation of how much did he donate? He might have donated 10,000, but it might also have only been 5,000. I forget. But yeah, we sent out a postcard that was a competition winner. So that was cool too. So it might have been Hex Greta's. Not Greta, Hex Gita. So, and then also, if you or any of the other hexicans or pulsicans want any of these business cards via mail envelope, just DM me an address that you're comfortable with. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. So a business address, an address that you don't live at, whatever you want. People have trusted me with their personal address. I do take it responsibly. And I guess that's it. You guys take care. I recommend getting a ladder, stake it out there, because you can't read the future. So if you just not stagger it, but if you just divide it up, then you're not taking chances on any particular dates. You know, I'm seeing a little bit of the fight here. They're still standing. It looks like it says 7 of 8, and that there's 1.5 minutes left. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. It's not almost over, is it? Round 6, Mike showing age. Darn it. I missed a lot of it. Hexagon Lost in Asia says round 6, Mike is showing age. Yeah, he is. He can't dodge a jab anymore. From what I'm seeing right now, they're not even punching each other. They're just dancing around. So it's almost like it's for charity. Wasn't Mike such a hoss that he just like, he was never knocked out. Like, it's just impossible to knock this guy out to where maybe from the beginning these people knew that it was just going to be a charity thing. Ooh, Mike just took two to the right side. He just took a third to the right side for 3 hooks. His eye is bleeding. Jake Paul's leaving his left hand down. All right, that's the end of the 7th. Interesting. But yeah, with the hex staking, if you did a small amount for every 6, you wouldn't have to time the market, right? Because Richard says it's time in the market, not timing the market. And then whenever you come up to those things, then you can decide what you want to do with it. Do you want to take some profits, or do you want to put it forward? The stream I am watching just ended. So it's unavailable. So I need to find a new one. I wanted to say something else. Oh yeah. And if it is that you're talking to somebody for the first time about staking hex, what I've always told people, so that they can witness what hex can do, like they'll ask you, well, how much do you think I should get involved? How much do you think I should stake? I always tell people the amount that you would put in for a date. So like, if you would take your lady out to dinner on a Saturday night, how much are you willing to spend? Are you willing to spend $50, $100, $200, $500? What wealth do you have already? And what's not a big deal to you? So that's what I recommend, is whatever is not a big deal, and stake it out for 5,555, or stake it out for the 15-year equivalent of whatever you're going to set up these every 6 month stakes for, right? So I stake out for every spring and fall. So 15, or like if you're in the spring, then 15 years from then it would be in that spring. Same with winter, of course. And then make it to where that person who stakes that out then views with one of our awesome community created viewing softwares. Make it to where they can see their 15-year stake right there in the palm of their hand. Then they can sit there and look at how much hex has accrued from the original hex that they had. So they can see the system working for them. And then when times are good, they can look at the dollar value and be really impressed. Awesome. When times are not so good, it dips. The dollar value goes down a bit, but the hex value is still gaining. It's still increasing with the interest. The interest column is still increasing. So they're able to see the value there. And so they're able to see that the whole thing works for them. And they'll get interested. They'll get interested in this whole hex system, and they'll start asking questions, more and more questions. You're able to point to Richard, who is the unwavering beacon, right? The guy who always stays the course. And then from then on, they're hooked. And this has happened with a guy that I ran into in Spaces just earlier today. I was checking out a few of the spaces, and this guy named Chivo. Let's say it's Chivo, Chivo. And this guy somehow was into crypto and numerology, and one of our guys, El Hexicano, ran into him, and he told him about Hex, he told him about Richard, and he told him like, hey, I'm gonna introduce you like into a group chat on Twitter. And then so he's in a group chat with me, Johnny Chaos, Johnny the truck driver 55555, and did I say 5 too many times? Hex is the Way, who is Pulse DCA, and a few other guys who, we're all diehards, right? And so this Chivo guy is able to sit here and bounce questions off of us, and our community is complex, So we've got little shitheads that have mental disorders and personality disorders. That Chivo is running into and reporting back to us saying, hey, what's up with this thing? What's up with that thing? What do y'all think about this and that? How do they relate to each other? How does this thing work? So the guy, he's a perfect example of how we need to get out of the way of people who really want to learn and just give them the tools and the resources and cut our ego out of it, because we're not creating a coin or a what is it? We're not creating a some people are creating good courses, so I don't want to bash the courses, but a trader group, let's say that. We're not creating a coin and a trader group, therefore our egos can stay out of it, and instead we can just introduce some tools that this person can grow on. All right. I'm going to go try to find the last punches of this fight. I'll see y'all later. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. Cheers. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the comments, guys. It was good interacting with you. Peace.